y'all. AllBall TV.
They scared, but I'm not.
They don't like comentario.
Y suscribe.
You know when I say Knicks, you know what time it is, man.
Knicks Rehab.
The New York Knicks hired Chris Gent, recently the assistant coach of the Hornets. He's been killing the game, y'all. Assistant coach, you see the time period there. He's been over 2 decades in the game. He coached LeBron. Apparently, he's LeBron's personal assistant or something like that. Coached at Ohio State University a couple of times. And, of course, he was with Mike Brown in Cleveland with LeBron and all that. Coached in Cleveland, coached with Trae Young. And, of course, with the Kings, I believe that was before Mike Brown was there. Early Magic, might have had Dwight Howard for a second. But I think he also won the G League championship this past summer. There's a lot on his resume, man.
You know me, I'm not impressed until I'm impressed. I have to see the product on the floor. I have to see how these guys communicate with the players. I have to see how the players play for these guys. Let's see what Chris Gent does offensively. I'm watching them closely. I like it, you know, because I totally agree. Y'all said it a while ago. Get that coaching staff out of there. It's almost like it's almost like the wilderness. When a male lion, meets another young lady, get all the niggas up out of here because it ain't gonna work. You cannot fire Tibbs and then keep everybody else there. That's not gonna work. That's almost like, you know, you meet a new girl and the ex-boyfriend is still in the living room paying some of the rent. That nigga got to go. This ain't gonna work like that. So
Send your money. Still send your money, but you could go. Send the money.
Right. Send that shit at mama's house. Send it from your mama's house.
Send the money. Send the money. You could go though.
But like I said, Chris Gent, I want to see what he can do. I'm looking forward to seeing what type of offense he's going to help us with, because we do need help with offense. My opinion, we have the best player in the East in Jalen Brunson. He's probably right now top 5 one-on-one players in the league, but still, we have to find a way for the offense to flow. We have guys that can knock down shots. We have guys that can post up. We have guys that can run in transition. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do to help us offensively, to where it's not just like Flea say pound with Jalen Brunson, because it almost makes us predictable to guard on the offensive end. So I'm looking forward to that. And I also like that it seems like Mike Brown is taking his time. Flea, how long I said this? I said the season starts in October. I said I will panic the third or fourth week in August, maybe the first week of September. If we don't have things cooking, then it's a problem. So I figure probably by another week or two, maybe Labor Day weekend, maybe Mike Brown will have his full coaching staff available. But I like the hire. The guy has history with a lot of great franchises. He's been on the bench with a lot of great players. So for me, I like it. And I'm gonna tell you this, and I'll let Flea cook. I like it better than all the mother mugs on the coaching staff. Mo Cheeks and Othello Harrington, whoever else was there. Yeah, like, so for me, you know, just to get and I mean this with all disrespect, a real assistant coach on the bench. Niggas, I don't know what they was. And Fabian says this all the time. A guy like Chris Gent, he probably wants to be a head coach one day. So, you know, let's see how invested he is. Because think about it, Flea. Who's ever on his coaching staff, if you get the Knicks to the promised land, you can catch your ticket.
He's not coming in as an assistant coach. Let's be clear. He's coming in as the associate head coach.
Right.
So that already means it's of Mike Brown. If we start the season 10-10, if there's a time where we're 15-15, that is going to be the successor for Mike Brown. Call it what you want. That's what's going to happen, right? Chris Gent is being put in that spot by Mike Brown, but don't get it fucked up. Leon Rose, Dolan, all of these guys are going to sign off on that because they know if something goes left, this is the guy that's going to succeed Mike Brown. So, I mean, I love the coaching hire. I think it's a guy that's been around today's NBA for a little while, so he understands the landscape of it. He understands how offenses and defenses are run in today's world. So I think that'll be a plus for Mike Brown to be able to look to his left or right or whichever direction that is and be able to say, hey, you know, I need help drawing this up. You know, what are we going to do to put our guys in the best positions possible? So Chris Gent is a guy that could be able to do that. I'm sure y'all went over the fun fact that he's a former Knick, so that's not that's cool to have a guy that's been in our locker room before and understands what New York is all about. But I just like the tenure that he's had over the last recent years. This is not a guy that, you know, you pulling off the couch or pulling off the side or pulling off the sidewalk. This guy is in the throes of it. He's been coaching and been in it for the last at least decade, most recent, right? So this is not some guy that you just going and calling, hey, come work for me, and he ain't been doing shit for a little while. He knows what's going on. He's most recently in Charlotte. So I'm sure he was right up close with LaMelo Ball. He's right up close with Brandon Miller, right up close to all of those young guys, right? So I like the fact that he's got his pulse on today's NBA and also is a veteran type guy. So you know what it's going to take to win. You've been in a winning locker room. If you go back and look, he did, you know, when he's one of those guys that if you go on the roster, you get a ring. So he was on that Houston Rockets roster that beat us in '94 that won a ring.
Wow.
So he's been around, you know, championship pedigree guys. He's been in the locker room with Dream, been in the locker room with Kenny Smith, Sam Cassell, all of those greats, Clyde Drexler, those type of guys. So I like the hire. Gives me some confidence to know that, you know, we're actually competent. We're not asleep at the wheel. We're taking these things serious. I know at the beginning of the summer, it was like, are we taking this coaching hire serious? How are we operating with this coaching hire? We going and hollering at the third and fourth chick, you know, that really, you know, it was our third and fourth choice. We didn't really want her, but you want to go to the prom with me? Cool. Just roll with me. So that's what it felt like with the Mike Brown hire. But as the roster gets filled out, as the hires are happening with the assistant coaches, I'm getting more and more confident about how we're trying to approach this season. And if we're looking at the landscape of the Eastern Conference, the Knicks should be licking their chops like, yo, this is a great opportunity to make a finals run, to make a championship run. So I like what we're doing. You know, I'm confident. I'm enthused about what's going on for sure.
All the stuff that we're hearing is, you know, how he was there with Mike Brown early on with Cleveland. Then he was, you know, he won the G League championship this past summer. And again, I think you and Flea always stress, and just anyone who loves the game more and more in depth always talk about these little things that matter. You always talk about Patrick Beverley, how he scored in high school. We even reference when a Draymond Green when he is going through whatever he's going through, or he's doubted for whatever reason. Flea will bring up like, yo, player of the year, not defensive player of the year, not led the league in steals, no, player of the year. So something as small as a G League championship, especially for this generation, and you've been around for 2 decades, and you're an associate coach like Flea put. This guy, that means you were at the helm running things. And he did so a couple of times. He was an interim coach for the Magic. I think he was 5-17 or something like that. Disgusting record. But just the fact that he had an attempt at this. And again, I don't expect much from him. This is not a super duper name hire. None of these guys really are. And I think if we did go and gravitate to those hires, I think a lot of us, even the Indiana assistant coach or associate coach, we were flirting with him as well. They denied us. Another team that denied us, which deservedly so. I've seen clips. Was it Fish that sent it to me? Of like Rick Carlisle didn't even know what the play was being ran. They asked him about it. He's like, I don't even remember. I got to ask my assistant. Like, that means he's relying on these guys to come up with stuff on the fly. And Mike Brown is someone who we all are, skeptical, regardless of what he did with Sacramento. Yes, he changed them offensively, and we saw it. We always talk about Herder shot 90% for 2 months or whatever it was with the pick and roll dribble handoff action with them, how they spread the floor. They got players to spread the floor. I'm excited to see all this. If he can turn this, how do you motivate OG and Bridges? because Brunson and Cat, they either gonna get it or they don't. These are two superstars. Like they're gonna face so much pressure. Karl Anthony Towns is gonna understand what this pressure is. Jalen Brunson gonna understand what this pressure is. They're gonna sit down at some point and they're gonna come to a head, come to a meeting of their minds. We gotta work like this. Sit down with the coaches and break something down for them, and everybody else can feed off of it. And this is what I want to see Chris Gent and OG Anunoby. Can OG do with Keegan Murray what Mike Brown wanted Keegan Murray to do? Because as much criticism as I have of Mike Brown, I'm not forgetting or I'm not overlooking the fact that Keegan Murray did not perform the way that he was supposed. He broke a rookie record for 3-pointers and all that. If he would be able to be a knockdown shooter, I think the Kings look like a whole other team. He didn't ever take a leap up, in my opinion. So OG took a leap. Keegan Murray I believe in OG shooting the ball more than Keegan Murray, and that's crazy. AllBall TV. They scared, but I'm not. They don't like comentario.
Y suscribe.